Namaste. Welcome to this really therapeutic class which aims to alleviate any kind of back pain. It's a yin class, so if you haven't practiced yin before, just a few points to know about yin that's slightly different from our hatha yoga practice. Firstly, we hold the poses for a longer period of time, and we're going to do some real deep intense stretches. So, do expect to be in the stretch, and they're actually going to be only 2 minutes because there's a lot I want to fit into this practice today. But do expect to be holding each pose for about 2 minutes. Occasionally it'll just be 1 minute. And really what I would like you to know about yin is that there shouldn't be pain. So when you're stretching, you really want to be on the edge of discomfort, but not pain. So only you can tell the difference between that. So, and I will remind you of that when we get stretching the legs, because if the leg starts to shake and quiver, then you're going a little bit too far. The other thing about yin is it's a very meditative practice. So literally all the way through the practice, I'll be asking you to self-inquire, listen inwardly, what sensation are you feeling? Has the sensation moved to another part of the body? What thoughts are coming up for you, even emotions. Sometimes when we free ourselves from pain and we release tension in the muscles and the tissue, it can be quite freeing emotionally too. So watch everything that's coming up for you. And then lastly, just that we're really working on a little deeper level, and that we're aiming to target the myofascia tissue. And really all you need to know is that this is tissue that lies over the muscles, over the bones, and over time it can get tight. Sometimes if we've had injury, it can become scarred. And, this hardness of the tissue can, really affect our movement, both in the joints and the muscles. So, the release of the myofascia tissue is really what yin is all about. So the other thing I want to talk about for this class is, obviously it is for those of you, well, it's for anybody really, but those of you who especially suffer with back pain, scoliosis, perhaps sciatica, any kind of sciatica problem, sacrum problem, getting all my words muddled there. So I'm asking you to, before you practice this class, to know your limitations, and to know that, if you have, chronic aches, occasional soreness, aches and pains, you'll benefit from it. However, if you have severe pain and you're not quite sure, perhaps, maybe a slipped disc or something like that, please just do ask your physician, your doctor, before you do practice. But you should benefit greatly from this therapeutic routine. I tried it out with my son yesterday, who's quite tight in his muscles. He does lots of biking, and he felt wonderful afterwards. It also should be really calming for your mind. And by stretching and lengthening the muscles, we can encourage eventually better alignment. And that's something else I'd like you to be aware of today, your posture. So even just while you're sitting here watching me, are you slumped? Do you have a natural curve in the lower back? I'm going to be asking you a few of these questions as we go on through the class. So before we actually get going with just a short meditation, I want to tell you what you need today, because you do need some equipment. Firstly, you're going to need a strap. I have a yoga strap here, but you might have a dressing gown belt at home that you could use. You might have just a belt that holds your jeans up, your trousers up. Anything that kind of doubles up, maybe even just a scarf, a long scarf would work too. So that's that. Secondly, you're going to need a bolster, something that's equivalent to a yoga bolster. You may well have a yoga bolster. This is quite sturdy, okay? So if you've decided to use pillows instead, you're probably going to need 2 or 3 pillows, and you need to bind them tightly in a blanket, perhaps again tying them up with straps to make the same firmness as this bolster. And lastly, what I'm sitting on is a rolled up blanket. So if you have something similar, this is just a blanket from IKEA that I'd like to be rolled up, but you could also use a roll up towel. So it's to sit on, but also we're going to need it for a couple of other things later on in the practice. So while you run off and get yourself sorted, I will sit here, you can press pause, and when you join me again, we'll be closing our eyes for meditation. Welcome back. Take a comfortable seat. Please be cross-legged or kneeling. You could kneel up on your bolster or cushions if you prefer that. And always to begin any practice, we empty the mind. We center ourselves. So please softly close your eyes. Relax the whole of your face. Try not to hold tension in your forehead, center of your eyebrows, and your mouth. Relax your mouth. Go inside of your mouth, relax your cheeks and your tongue. Keeping the inner body very bright and lifted. Also soften the tops of your shoulders so they're not rising up towards your ears. And take a really full breath in through both nostrils. Open your mouth, let out a big sigh, big letting go. And that's what I'm calling this practice, letting go, in order for healing to take place. So give yourself now complete permission to let go. Let go of anything in particular that's going on in your life or your mind right now. And try to come to this moment, this present moment, and bring your full awareness to your breath, your natural breath. Just going to work with the natural breath today. So the rise and the fall of your breath into stillness. The more we pay attention to the breath, the more the breath regulates. It takes on a rhythm, and that rhythm is completely unique to you. That rhythm serves your internal organs, the internal systems of your body, your cells, your muscles, your bones, your brain. That rhythm is ultimately healing. So we'll sit in silence for about another minute. Just allowing and paying attention to our breath. So the one thing that I ask of you today is that you're open to healing. And that in every pose, I use the word allowing a lot. You are allowing freedom in. So please fold your hands to your heart. So just softly bring the palms together. Hold them to your heart center. Turn your thumbs inwards, because this is a very much practice about you, caring for you today. Looking inside. With your eyes still closed, I'm going to read a verse, and it's about healing. And I'm going to read the same verse at the end of the practice too. Healing. There is healing in the laying on of hands, in the letting go of fear, in asking for help, in silence, and in celebration. There is healing in speaking the truth and in keeping still, in seeking sunlight and not shunning struggle. Laughter and the affirmation of wholeness hold their own healing. When the soul dances, when the day begins in delight, when love grows and cannot be contained, when life flows from moment to moment, healing happens in the space between thoughts and the breath before the first sung note. Healing is your birthright and grace. When we dare to be open to the unknown, when we extend ourselves in caring, when we welcome in the vast expanse of life, healing comes from the heart and blossoms from the inside out. And we set that as our intention today. Allowing, letting go, and healing. You can curl up the bottom corners of your top lip into a smile. Open your eyes and we'll get going. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we don't need any of our equipment, so you can just pop that to the side. We're going to begin, I'm just going to move my books over. We're going to begin with what I call spinal undulations. And those of you that have practiced any somatics with me at home, you will have done with me in class, you will have done this before. And if you haven't, really straightforward. So you're going to lie down on your back with your legs bent, soles of the feet on the floor. Okay, knees over heels. So from here, arms just can rest alongside your body. And it's a very slight movement. Sometimes people try and overdo this movement. And it's literally, this is the bringing back natural alignment to the spine. And it's a really great thing to do when you first get up in the morning, especially if you do suffer with lower back pain. So simply, feet hip width apart, I'm going to inhale, create a deep curve to the lower back. My bum is still touching the floor and so are my shoulder blades. So I inhale, create a curve to the lower back, and exhale, I press the lower back down into the mat. So I flatten the back. So I inhale, create a curve, and I exhale, flatten the back. So as I inhale, create the curve, if there was a little spider in here today, there might be, he could run underneath my back. But when I exhale, flatten my back, I'd squash him. Not very yogic, but just hope you get the gist of what I'm doing here, because I'm wearing quite a baggy top as well. So I breathe in and I breathe out. Inhale, exhale. So just start to get a rhythm of this. We can do about 20 of these. A really great thing to do first thing in the morning to bring the pelvis and the lower back into alignment. And we really want to bring back the natural curves to our spine. All right, so we do a couple more. Breathing in, cultivating a nice curve for the lower back. Breathing out, flattening the back down into the floor. I'm going to do one more. And then, please join me. I'm going to clasp my hands around the back of my head. Okay, so from here, and this is a little bit of core work too, which is great for your back. So from here, we're going to do exactly the same thing. As I breathe in and create the curve, I press my elbows back into the floor, so you do the same. As I breathe out and flatten my back, I'm going to wing my elbows into the ears, peel my head and neck off the floor, chin to chest, look forwards. So I inhale, create curve, chin to ceiling, elbows back. Exhale, press lower back into the floor, elbows in, head and neck off the floor. So inhale, elbows back, create that curve for the spider to run under. Exhale, squash the spider, elbows in, chin in. So when I breathe in, my chin turns to the ceiling, elbows back, create the curve, exhale. So let's just find that rhythm. And we'll do about another 10 of these. And you'll feel how the tailbone is just rolling each time. So the tailbone, when you're creating the curve, you'll really be able to feel it. And when you're flattening and bringing chin to chest, it's almost like you're tucking your tail between your legs. And it's such a slight movement, but I can't tell you what a difference it makes if you've got slight back pain. Of course, we can get back pain from aerobic activity as well if we do a lot of it. I'm going to make this my last one. I haven't been counting. I think that's around about 10. And then what I'd like you to do now is just release the arms, stretch your legs away from you, and notice if you've created a little bit more spaciousness around the lower back and sacrum area just from doing that simple exercise. All right, and then you're going to bend the legs up again. Please roll to your side. You're going to bring yourself up, but not for long. We're going to grab our strap so it's handy, and we're going to shuffle up. So we're going to need a wall today. You'll have read that on the writing that I wrote about, the description that I wrote about this class. So you're going to need a wall as part of your prop. So you're going to shuffle into the wall sideways. Now watch carefully if you haven't done this before. I'm then going to just turn my legs up the wall. You don't want your bum too close. And then lie back. You can see my legs are up the wall. I'm lying flat. My bum is not too close. From here, I'm going to tap my right ankle, cross it at the top of my left thigh. Okay? And then I'm going to slide my left foot, so the sole of the foot is now on the wall, and you'll slide it down as far as you can. Some of you, it may be like this, I'm showing now. Others, you may find you can really turn it into a 90-degree angle there. Okay, if you want a little bit more intensity, you might be thinking, wow, I can really feel this. This is the IT band, the outer thigh. Okay, so if you can really feel it, you're going to hold it here. You're going to, if you want more intensity, you can take right hand to the inner knee and just gently edge that knee away. Okay, we're going to have a 2-minute hold here. So if you're in position now, the 2 minutes begins now. Remember, this practice is about allowing, softening, inquiring. That means, just listening inwardly all of the time. Where's the intensity in this stretch? Can I breathe? And keep my breath steady. So really, you don't want to fight these stretches. You want to just be present with it. Close your eyes. and allow. And you might find the stretch lessens, in which case you can slide the foot further down the wall. Depending on your flexibility, you may find you can ground your tailbone, still keeping that nice curve in the lower back. You may find that's impossible. And that may be why you have back pain, which is why we're stretching. Just try and stay with it. Ooh. Slide your left foot back up the wall so you can release the right leg. And then with both legs up the wall, just rest here for a few moments and notice the difference. Although that was pretty intense, it's really freed up the right leg already. Okay? Okay, so when you notice the difference, we're going to bend, we're going to cross the left ankle, top of the right thigh. We're going to bend the right leg, slide the foot down the wall just as much as you feel you can, but you do want the sole of the foot on the wall. Okay, remember, for less intensity, leg can go further up. More intensity, you bring it to a right angle. Even more intensity, left hand goes to left inner knee. And 2 minutes begins now. I quite like to do my yin practice in silence, just because it is a meditative practice. It's quite a blustery day today, so I can hear the wind, I can hear the birds. Of course, if you prefer some nice, relaxing music in the background, you could play some. Remember to keep your breath steady. Try not to resist, both in your body and your mind. Allowing and letting go, the two key sayings of this practice. Ooh, gently release. Notice as well, perhaps it was more intense for you one side more than the other. Certainly was on my left side. So we're just going to release that again. Let the legs recover for a moment, a few moments. And for what we're going to do next, you're going to need your strap handy. We're going to come away from the wall just a little bit. So please bend the legs. You can either, like me, shuffle back, do a little wriggle, and come right back so your legs can now be straight and your feet are touching the wall. All right? And the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to bring the right knee up towards right side of chest, right armpit, really depending again on your flexibility. Just take a hold with your hands. you find that's too much, you could take a hold gently with the strap, and you're just going to draw the knee in. This is just for 1 minute. Knee towards right side of the chest, right armpit. You notice my left leg is straight along the floor. The sole of my left foot is pushing into the wall. So the wall can really help us in a lot of these poses today. Sometimes the hardest thing to be with your own thoughts. But I ask you to be introspective. Fully aware, fully conscious of anything that's coming up for you. This is about you taking time to listen inwardly to you. Phew. Gently release that. Now we're going to do one leg at a time for the rest of this little sequence, so that you can really notice the difference from side to side, both with your legs and your lower back at the end. So next you're going to grab your strap. You're going to lasso it just underneath the ball of the foot. So it's not in the instep. It's just underneath the ball of the foot. This keeps the foot very active. Okay, I've made quite a big loop in my strap, but you could just hold both ends of it. It's up to you. I find I like the loop. Now, I'm going to take my hands into the loop. The leg is bent at this point. We are not doing a hamstring stretch yet. So the leg is bent, sole of the foot facing the ceiling. Your leg might look quite different to mine. It might be, like my son's was yesterday, right up here. Okay, so really see where, the stretch works for you. And then this is a 2-minute hold. So again, if the leg is shaking or quivering, just back off. Just close our eyes, be present. Try not to grit your teeth. Allow and let go. That's when healing takes place, when we can go with the flow, when we don't resist. Ooh, so we're going to back off, straighten the leg up. Okay, now if you're very tight in the hamstring to get the leg straight now, you may need to bend the other leg. So you may need to bend your left leg, sole of the foot on the floor. You've got your loop. You can make your loop bigger if you want to. Okay, you might find your leg is right back here. Okay, so if you're tight in the hamstring or you're very tight in your lower back, You may find the leg is much further back than mine. All right. Those of you, however, the other way, more flexible, you may be able to draw the leg in closer, and you may find you also would prefer to have the other leg straight and pushing into the wall. Okay, so decide which option is for you now. Remember, intense but not pain. And our 2 minutes, this is a hard one to get through, those of you with tight hamstrings, and the likelihood is if you have lower back stuff going on, you may have tight hamstrings. 2 minutes begins now. I'm going to show the more modified version with my foot on the floor. Please make sure you try and pull your baby toes towards you and push the big toes away so we again create good alignment in our foot to protect our joints. Ideally here too, tailbone is grounding, so we're still got that curve, that natural curve to the lower back. Breathe. You know, sometimes life gets intense. And that's something good we can always do. Breathe, allow, try and soften and let go. When we resist, we tighten up. And that's both in the mind and in our body. Key thing is when we can free the body of discomfort and of tension, we can also free the mind. That's our yoga practice. Every now and then you'll find you just get a little release. Well done, release it, but keep the strap attached to your foot. We still have more to go here. So you can back right off, away from the hamstring stretch. Now, so we're going to help to open up these adductor muscles now, inner thigh. Always so important when we're trying to create more spaciousness around the lower lumbar spine and the sacrum. So keeping hold of your loop, you might want to keep it with both hands or one hand. With the heel directly over the hip, it may be slightly lower if you're less flexible. We need to start taking the leg out to the side. Now, before you begin, everyone now, whether you were flexible or not, you're going to bend the left leg up, knee over heel, and you're going to let your left knee drop open to the side. This will help to keep the left sit bone grounded, all right? So that we basically don't go lopsided like this. So okay, with the left knee turning out to the side, we're going to start to open up the right leg. Now just go to a place where it feels fairly comfortable to begin with. 2 minutes begins now. Don't overdo this. Please smile and breathe. It's a bit more intense. And listen, and don't look at my leg because I may be less or more flexible than you. Just only you can feel where you need to be. A great stretch too for the piriformis. And a deep internal muscle we have that connects our legs in through the pelvis to the lower back. Get very tight, the psoas muscle. And especially actually from, again, lots of aerobic activities or lots of sitting, the psoas muscle gets tight. So this is a great release as well as hip flexors. when we do those ones later. You're allowing, you're letting go. Your lower belly, your abdomen, no holding on there, let it be soft. I just have my hand here just to remind myself of that, the warmth of my hand. There's no holding on here. Big toes push away, baby toes pull towards the leg. Ooh. Right, so you bring the left knee up first, knee over heel, bring the right leg up. All right, so you're actually just going to keep hold of the strap for one more stretch. But first of all, you're going to just take the leg much further away. You're going to bring the left, hang on a minute. Yeah, you're going to bring the left ankle and cross it at the top of the right thigh. So similar to what you did legs up the wall. But then we're going to draw the leg up, the right leg up as much as we can. So for some of you, it'll be right back here. Others, you'll be able to bring it up. And you're going to take the left leg this time over to the left, just slightly. So you're on a slight angle and you'll start to feel an IT band stretch along the side of this right leg. And just 1 minute here, begins now. So I'm just on a slight angle, leaning over to the left. Ooh, release. This time you can undo your strap, release left leg, stretch both legs out so your feet are back touching the wall. And you may feel, what I'd like you to do is just lay your strap down and notice, like for me now, my right leg, I'm hoping it is for you too, is just, feels so much freer. It feels slightly longer. I've released a lot of tension in the leg as well as my sacrum and my lower back. So much more space. It feels so different to the left side, and I'm hoping you feel the same. So let's do the other side. So first thing we did, remember, is to bring the left knee in, and we just took hold of it with the hands, or I said you could take a strap just over the shin. You're drawing the knee towards the left side of the chest, left armpit. Okay? This is just a 1 minute hold, starting now. Allowing, easing. No effort really with this one, it's quite a passive stretch. All right, We're going to need the strap now. So remember this first one we did with the strap. Lasso the strap again just around the ball of the foot. Get your loop. The leg is bent to begin with, so we bend the leg. Sole of the foot faces the ceiling. I'm probably, fairly flexible, so some of you may be further back, knee bent. Okay? As long as the sole of the foot faces the ceiling, that's where you need to be. Knee bent, sole of the foot facing the ceiling. We are on 2 minutes now, and it begins now. You don't want any quivering, any shaking. Back off if that starts to happen. Though if you're not used to stretching much, that may happen. So even if you back off, you may find there's still a little bit of quivering. Just try and go with it. Waking those muscles up, waking up the tissue. Ooh. Right, so remember, we don't want to lose the strap now, but we want to back off so the leg is straight. So see if you can straighten the leg. However, not to lock out the knee. Don't lock out the knee too much. So those of you less flexible now, you're going to bend your other leg, sole of the foot on the floor. Okay? Because this is much more modified, but you're still going to get a really wonderful stretch. If you find your legs way back here and the other leg is straight, this is, probably not so good for you. So once you're in position, legs straight, I'm going to show modified, and we're going to begin now. 2 minutes starts now. And you're heading towards left side of the chest, left shoulder. All right, so you don't want to bring it towards the center of your chest. You're leading it towards left side of the chest, left shoulder. So make the space in the hips for the stretch. I know this might be pretty intense for some of you, so try not to screw up your face. Smile, think of something nice. Breathe. Know how wonderful your lower back may feel at the end of this practice. We are allowing, we are letting go in order for healing to take place. If at all possible, you want to make sure you ground your tailbone. So we've got that natural curve for the lower back again. Yes, through habits and bad posture, there's so many things that we do that start to flatten out the curves in our back. And this practice aims to bring back those curves. Oh, saved by the bell. Okay, so we're going to release the hamstring, but we're not releasing the strap, remember, we're going out to the side. So before we do take the leg out to the side, right leg, you want to just drop open to the side. You're on the outer edge of the right foot, and then slowly, slowly, you start to ease left leg out to where that perfect intensity is for you. I think my assistant has dropped his things. So the timer can begin now, 2 minutes. Again, you might want to place your hand onto your lower belly. Just to make sure you're keeping soft here. There's no tension or holding on around that psoas muscle, which can also get quite tight when we're going through stress and anxiety in our lives. We call this the muscle of the soul. Our gut brain. That's why these muscles can sometimes get tight when we're emotionally uptight and stressed. Looking at the camera, seeing you'll just see my big foot here. But hopefully you won't be looking at the camera. You'll be breathing your way through this stretch. Ooh. So remember, we bring the other leg up first. Right leg comes up, knee over heel. Then bring your left leg up. Oh, we're not quite done yet, guys. Remember, we've got to back off with the left leg. Cross right ankle, top of the left thigh, just as we did up against the wall. Then we draw the leg up as far as we can. And we're going to just take it over to the right. Okay, you might just want to lean on your right elbow. And it's just a 1 minute hold here. We start to feel this all down the side of the IT band into the glute. Easing a little bit of tension there. And these therapeutic yin practices can really give back energy, you know, because they're so meditative. And listening, introspection, inquiry. Back off. And I'm now going to allow you to release your strap, release the leg, stretch your legs along the floor. And hopefully they should both be the same length now. So just feel where you are. Just take a little mini shavasana. We'll just take a few breaths here. Just to appreciate, you know, and to inquire Exactly how you're feeling now, perhaps a lot more spacious. And there's still more to come. So we are going to bend the legs up, both legs. We're not going to need the strap for a moment, so just take that away. We're going to need that again right at the end of the class. But I would like you to now grab your bolster. It might be a made-up bolster of pillows. And you're going to bring it to the lower part of your mat. All right? Now I'm going to straighten my left leg along the floor. Okay? I'm going to bring my right knee into chest, so please follow. Left leg is straight along the floor, foot still touching the wall. And then I'm going to take my left hand, please take your left hand to your outer right knee and draw the knee across so it sits onto the cushion or bolster. Now, you may find yours doesn't get there, in which case get your rolled up blanket or towel and give yourself a little bit of extra cushioning. All right? Now, upper body, left hand can stay over the outer right knee. Upper body, we're going to open out. So this is a little twist, and it's a really safe twist because we're doing it lying down. So if you do have back issues, it's a nice thing to do. So right arm is out along the floor, palm up to the ceiling, and even if your shoulder doesn't ground here, it's still, this is a really nice opening for the collarbone, the chest, and the shoulder. So you might find yours is kind of hovering here. You may even want to put cushioning underneath it. This is just a 2-minute hold, but I think we've already done about 30 or 40 seconds, so we're good here. You notice my other leg, my other foot, my straight leg has turned out to the side. That's perfectly acceptable in this pose. So we're twisting, we're turning the lower body in a different direction to the upper body. You could also turn your head the same way as your right arm, but only if that feels comfortable. Good, we're done. Gently release the right leg, stretch away, stretch the foot up to the wall again, both legs straight. Just notice there might be a little bit of difference again after that stretch. And you're going to just carry the bolster, roll it over you to the other side. Again, you may want your rolled up blanket on it, you may not. I'm going to put mine on there and just work with a modified. Okay, so we're going to bring left knee into chest. We're going to take the knee across, so we're resting the side of the calf onto the bolster. Left arm out along the side this time. And the right hand can rest on the knee, or you can just have right arm out to the side if you don't feel you need to do that. Okay, 2 minutes starting now. Again, your head can be in a neutral position, or you can turn your head in the same direction as your left arm. Allowing, softening, letting go. Our little mantra for today. Gently release. Good. Stretch your legs out to the wall. Rest in Shavasana a few breaths. Then just, kind of inquire again. Explore how you're feeling now from when you first began. We've still got a few moves left. So let's bend the legs up. Roll towards me, and you're going to just gently bring yourself up so you can see what we're going to do next. So I'm going to grab my bolster. I'm going to take it halfway across my mat this time, okay? So if you get your bolster, take it halfway across your mat. Now, with your rolled up towel or rolled up blanket, it's going to be to rest your head on. So just have it with you for the moment. I've got it in my hand. And just for the sake of so you can see me, I'm going to take the left side of my waist onto the bolster. Now it's just kind of around where the lower ribs are. That's where we want to be resting onto the bolster. Okay, so lower ribs, not upper ribs, and waist. Okay, I've got my knees bent. I'm going to take my left arm out along the floor. Okay, then I'm going to get my little pillow, my rolled up towel or blanket, and rest it under my ear and then rest down. Okay, so if you get to here with me, and it's wonderful side stretch for the intercostal muscles here. After that, I'm going to reach my right arm over and just hold it here. You might want to just draw your knees back a little bit, and it's a really great side stretch. It's 2 minutes. Now, if any of you are struggling here, what you could do is rest a pillow underneath the left arm. That might be more comfortable for you, or a cushion. And if you don't feel much of a stretch, you could take with the underneath arm more out on a diagonal, as I am doing now. Oh, it's a good stretch. You may also like a pillow between both shins, or a blanket between both shins. Giving you all these options, but we're on timer now, so you might need to put me on pause if you want to grab those options. Those other props. Okay, so we're just trying to try and relax as much as we can here. Soften your face, let go. All right, so to come out of this pose, you can't really feel, but it's been quite intense, and it feels quite different when you release it. So I want you to release your top arm, so it's my right arm, and just rest the hand onto the cushion in front of you, onto your bolster. Then you're going to roll gently forwards. You're just going to roll on towards your tummy, your belly, and then push yourself up. And you know, I like to just feel the difference after that, because wow, this side feels so much easier, so much freer. We can hold, you know, just from sitting and slumping, and so much that we do with our upper body, these intercostal muscles and lats can get quite tight. So the freedom that can also give to your lower back. So we also stretch, as well as the legs, we stretch these side muscles. So you're going to do the other side now. You might have your back to me. I'm going to keep my front to you so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to climb over my bolster and do this the other way. So again, I want to find my pillow. I'm going to take my lower ribs and waist onto the bolster. Okay, knees are bent in again. You might want something between both shins and ankles, especially if you do suffer with any sacrum issues. And then I place my pillow under my ear, one arm out. Again, you might want the pillow underneath this underneath arm. Left arm comes up and over, and we just rest here. We're on 2-minute timer starting now. Those of you that want a little bit more, you can move the underneath arm out into a diagonal more. Get a deeper stretch through the waist. Once here, relax. Let go and allow healing to take place. Saved by the bell once again. Good, you're going to release the top arm very, very slowly. Rest your hand down onto the bolster. Roll forwards. Ooh. And then use both hands to gently ease yourself up again. You just want to kneel up. Notice the freedom that's given you. Feels good. Okay, so we're nearing the end. We have one more thing to do to really, again, help to bring those natural curves back to the lower back. And it involves the bolster staying exactly where it is. So it's about halfway across your mat, so it stays exactly where it is. I'm going to walk down here. Now, you're going to sit on this bolster, but as though you're about to slide off it. So don't sit right onto the center of it. Your bum is kind of almost sliding forwards, okay? Because the part of you that I want resting on the bolster when we now lie flat is the sacrum, okay? So it's not going to be the lumbar spine, it's going to be the sacrum. So you want your butt cheeks kind of sliding off down the bolster. You're going to use your hands to support you behind and just gently start to come back. Okay, head on the floor. So we're in a kind of supported bridge pose at the moment, actually. Knees are over heels, feet are hip width apart. We're just going to rest here for a few breaths. And what we're going to work on in a moment is, I talked about it before, you know, what really helps to release the deep internal psoas muscle that can get quite quick twisted and tight, especially when we suffer with lower back pain. So we work with the inner thigh, every side of the leg actually. But one thing we haven't done yet is these front hip flexors, not very much anyway, we did a little bit early on. So what we're going to do is stretch left leg out to touch the wall still. All right, and we're going to bring right knee towards chest. Again, you might want your strap with the right knee just to draw it in towards you. What you're going to feel, I hope, is just a lovely stretch on the front of the thigh and the front of the hip flexor. Now, if you do feel, wow, this doesn't feel too good for my back, it should be okay. It feels really comfortable for mine. But if it is too much, maybe don't be on the bolster, be on your rolled up blanket now, or your rolled up towel. Quite often I teach this on a block as well, on a brick block. So we're just going to hold this. We're just going to do 1 minute each side, starting now. And really trying your best to push your left inner heel into the wall. Left inner heel. So we really work with that seam of energy along the meridians. So we're going to release, sole of the foot on the floor to bring the left knee in. And again, it's towards left side of chest, left armpit. Stretch the right leg out. You might need the strap. You decide. And then it's 1 minute again this side. And I want to just really push that inner heel into the wall of the right leg. Great, so we release that. Bend both legs up, soles of the feet on the floor. Again, just a few breaths here in your supported bridge. And just bringing that natural curve back to the lower back in this supported bridge. And we have something very delicious coming up. Many of you may have done this before. It's called legs up the wall, which is another reason we needed the wall today. And really wonderful pose. You know, it's therapeutic to every single system of our body. So I'll show you what it is and then I'll tell you a little bit about it. So we're going to just lift our bum, slide the bolster out, bum down, roll to your side, and we come and set up for the last thing, and that is legs up the wall. Such a tonic, such a tonic. You're going to feel wonderful after this. It's going to give back energy. So one mistake people always make is they try and put their bolster right up against the wall. We don't want it too close. So you want it, you know, I guess about your own hand's distance away. Okay. And the other issue, so you may have some fun here, you may laugh a little bit, is getting up, getting your legs up the wall. So I'm going to try and show you the easiest way. I sit sideways, so I'm sitting on the end of my cushion. Use my hand to support me up. One thing, you're going to grab your towel. This is going to be a little neck roll, so just have it to the side there, ready to go when you're ready. So I'm sitting on the bolster, lean onto my hand. Watch, I'll try and do this in slow motion. So I'm going to twizzle so that my legs go up the wall. And again, this is kind of sacrum and a little bit of the lower back. You kind of play around and see where it's comfortable, the bolster, okay? Because I find, you know, when I do teach this, some people do like it under their sacrum, some people find they prefer it more under the curve of their lower back. Okay, so kind of play around, make sure you're comfortable with it. Now, you might want your strap again. I like to use a strap because it means I can really relax here. So I'm going to slide my feet through the strap, and I'm going to take the strap just around the tops of my knees and do it fairly tight. Okay, so it's on the thighs above the knees, not on the knees. Okay, that means my feet now are not going to kind of just turn out or turn in. They're just going to stay. There's going to be some good alignment with the legs. So I'm getting myself comfy. I hope you are too. You may want to pop a blanket over you here. Okay, next I've got my rolled up blanket, and I'm going to take this. You don't want it to be too much, so you noticed I've unrolled it a little bit, and it needs to be right under the base of the skull. So the occipital bone at the base of the skull. So I've got a little tiny roll, can you see? Just under that occipital bone. It really just feels nice, and so it's bringing back again a natural curve. So I've got the natural curve to the lower back, natural curve to the neck with my roll. And then this one we're going to hold, well, if you wanted to hold it longer at home you could do, but we're going to hold it for 5 minutes. The 5-minute timer, if you're ready, is starting now. And just before we totally relax, I want to tell you what wonders this pose does. Of course, it's a tonic for your legs because you're turning the legs upside down, so you're increasing circulation, you're boosting all of the muscles and the cells. So you tend to have a lot more energy after this, but also this pose, by turning our body upside down, is treating every system of the body. So it's great for obviously the circulatory system, digestive system. We're turning the large intestine upside down, so it can really help to circulate digestion as well, or stimulate digestion. Also great for the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is a system of endocrine glands that release hormones, which can affect our mood state and many other things. So it really stimulates the endocrine system. Also great for the nervous system. It stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system when we turn our body upside down like this. So it's very calming. You feel very relaxing. It's a great thing to do before you go to bed. And you may find little blood rush slightly when you first come into it, to the brain, to your head. So it can really bring clarity after this pose. You know, you can feel very clear-headed. So many, many benefits. If you want to know more, look them up, Google them. There's lists and lists of benefits of legs up the wall. But I'm going to be quiet now and let you enjoy it. So all of those 2-minute ones and that 5-minute one just seem to go so quickly because we're enjoying. You're welcome to stay here for a little bit longer if you're enjoying it, but otherwise we're going to gently draw, slide our feet down the wall. If you have a strap around your legs, you're going to release that. And then with your feet pressing into the wall and your knees bent, lift your bum up. Slide the bolster out from underneath you. Bum down. And then we're going to gently roll onto our side. And if you've got your blanket from under your head, you could use it as a pillow. We did earlier. Little pillow. And this is your shavasana today. I'm going to bring the bolster back like it's a teddy and just rest my right arm over it. And this is our shavasana, so we're just going to spend a minute or so here just relaxing. We've been upside down for a while, we need to come back to neutral. And just enjoy this moment. One more minute. Gently open your eyes. Take your time. We're going to come back to seated. You're just going to use the bolster, push yourself gently up. Don't rush, don't overexert yourself, no jerkiness. Take your time. You might want to lift your seat just to come back to seated. So we finish our practice as we began. A nice comfortable seat. Please close your eyes. Once more, some introspection. Notice how you're feeling. Freer. Amazing how when we free up our body, it frees up our mind. Can really lift our spirit. Please fold your hands back to your heart, thumbs turning inwards, because this mudra, Anjali mudra, indicates we're coming back to our hearts. That's what it represents. We're letting go of being stuck in our heads, constantly thinking and doing, and instead coming back to a place of feeling and being. And feeling and being is healing. So I'm going to read that verse one last time. There is healing in the laying on of hands, in the letting go of fear, in asking for help, in silence and in celebration. There is healing in speaking the truth and in keeping still, in seeking sunlight and not shunning struggle. Laughter and the affirmation of wholeness hold their own healing. When the soul dances, when the day begins in delight, when love grows and cannot be contained, when life flows from moment to moment, healing happens in the space between thoughts and the breath before the first sung note. Healing is your birthright and a grace. When we dare to be open to the unknown, when we extend ourselves in caring, when we welcome in the vast expanse of life, Healing comes from the heart and blossoms from the inside out. That's by Dana Folds. Thank you so much for joining me again for this therapeutic session. I really hope we have eased any discomfort for your lower back, if that's or any issues that you may have been experiencing before the practice. And please do, if you want to ask any questions, therapeutic questions about anything in particular you might be going through, please do just post me a message. All my details are up on YouTube. We fold our hands back to Namaste and we bow to this practice. Namaste. Thanks so much. See you again for another class soon, I hope.